So that's an example. We want our children, right, to have a love of knowledge. So we should bring them around the people of knowledge, like Sulaim did. SubhanAllah, why do our children these days, they have a love of actors. They have a love of influencers. They have a love of athletes, right? They can tell you about athletes. They can tell you about how many games, how much they make, where do they live, this, that, that. And then you ask them about one of the Sahaba. Tell me about Abu Bakr. Silence. Tell me about Umar. Silence. Tell me about Abu Hurairah. Silence. Tell me about an athlete. That's it. They go off. Know everything about the athlete. How much he makes. What team he was previously on. What team he's currently on. How many games, how many shots, how many this. So you know everything about it. My dear brothers and sisters, what is an athlete going to benefit you on the Day of Judgment? What is an athlete going to benefit? An actor. What is an actor going to do for you on the Day of Judgment? And you find Muslim kids saying, I love so-and-so. I love. They're saying the actor, I love this actor. I love this comedian. I love this athlete. And they don't know anything about the Sahaba. They don't know anything about the scholars of Islam. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. But then you say an actor or an athlete, they become happy. This is deficiency in the home. It's mentioned in the life story of Imam Ahmad in the book Siyar A'lam al-Nubala. That is mentioned by his son, either Abdullah or Saleh, the sons of Imam Ahmad. And Imam Ahmad, one of the greatest scholars of Islam. His son said, whenever there was a person of knowledge visiting my father, our father would bring us and introduce us to him because our father wanted us to have love of the people of knowledge. Our father wanted us to have love of the people of knowledge. So whenever Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah ta'ala, who died 241 Hijri, and we're in 1445. Imam Ahmad died 241. We're talking about 1,200 years ago. And Imam Ahmad is teaching us how to raise children. His son is saying, whenever our father had a guest from the people of knowledge, he would bring us. Some of us, when we do that, if there's a lesson, there's a conference, we let the children play outside. Go play outside. They're young, right? I'm going to the masjid, I'll let them stay home. Imam Ahmad, whenever he had a person of knowledge in his company, he would bring his children. And his son is narrating it. So his son understood. And Imam Ahmad disclosed to his children, because his son said, our father brought us to meet the individual because our father wanted us to love the people of knowledge. He wanted to instill in us the love of the people of knowledge. So this is very important, my dear brothers and sisters. And then we wonder why our children are on the internet and they're being very fond of Jordan Peterson or very fond of this individual and that individual. But when it comes to the great scholars of Islam, they don't know them. I have to sadly say, that's not their fault. That's our fault. What have we done to make sure our children love the scholars of Islam? My dear brothers and sisters, do we realize, and this is one of the things Ustad Hassan said in his lecture yesterday, that people don't realize how tremendous the heritage that has been left by the scholars of Islam. I'll say it again. He said it in the lecture yesterday. People don't realize how tremendous, how great is the heritage that has been left by the scholars of Islam. An example of that, can you imagine tremendous great universities as are considered in the West, right? In the UK, you have Oxford University. You have Cambridge University. Right? Here in America, you have Harvard, you have Yale, you have MIT, you have New York University, right? Do you know that those universities have departments for Middle Eastern studies, and they translate books of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim and other great scholars of Islam? They translate those books. Inshallah, when the brothers in the future and the sisters, they visit the library that we're starting, the Islamic Library in New Jersey, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we have translations of the books of Ibn Taymiyyah, the books of Ibn Qayyim, the books of Ibn Rajab, the books of Imam Ahmed, by these Ivy League universities. By these Ivy League universities. Why? Because they realize these books had strong knowledge and wisdom. So if they are able to identify that the books of Ibn Taymiyyah are filled with knowledge and wisdom, the books of Ibn Qayyim filled with knowledge and wisdom, the books of Ibn Rajab filled with knowledge, but the Muslims don't realize it. Our kids don't realize it. The kids, they want to go to these universities. These universities have translations of these great books of Islam because they realize it's filled with knowledge. So how, another question that we ask ourselves, how don't our children know about these scholars, but the universities know about these scholars? Right? That's one. Two, how are these books present in the universities, but they're not present in the homes of the Muslims? If they acknowledge this knowledge, why don't our children acknowledge this knowledge? That indeed is a deficiency within ourselves.